Uno más. What's up, buddy? We have got one more match, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it has been a real good Saturday. Now, not as many three-setters as we had yesterday, but we have had some tight matches from start to finish. So let's do it one more time. We have got some entertaining teams out there on the court. Yes, first off, this team who made their first main draw together back in 2019. And they do some funky stuff out there on the volleyball court, starting with this kid out of Pacific Palisades, the Bruin out of UCLA. He might go on 2, he might go on 3, he might go on 1. I don't know. Nobody else knows either, but he knows. Only he knows. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mr. Miles Partain. And his partner out of Lakewood, California. A phenomenal indoor and beach volleyball athlete. You rooted for him at the Olympic Games with Team USA. Now you root for him in Hermosa Beach. He is Paul Lotman. And their opponents. Listen, Casey, I cannot tell you how many people thought that I was playing with you in Hermosa Beach. They were so confused. I asked Casey who you're playing with after you win in New Orleans, and he said he was playing with me. And I thought the sarcasm was like easy to recognize. Literally yesterday, people asked what time our first match was. Yesterday. Ladies and gentlemen, he is not playing with me because he's playing with Phil. It's Casey Patterson. What the heck, Phil? My one chance. I had one chance. I'm not going to ever qualify. I need to get in the easy way, okay? I need somebody just to pick me up. Actually, you're doing pretty well no matter who you play with. Do you, one of these days, just if neither of us, you heard him, he said yes, I'm in. Ladies and gentlemen, the legend, the beast, the Olympic gold medalist out of Orlando, Florida, he is Phil Dalhausser.
61 titles for Phil Dalhausser on the AVP Tour. Right now, he's looking for number 62 alongside none other than Casey Patterson, who has done a solid job throughout his career and now in his second competition alongside the GOAT, the legend that is Phil Dalhausser. They've already picked up a title in 2022. Cameron Irwin alongside Dane Blanton. Our second men's quarterfinal just about to get underway. On the right side of the screen, the 7 seed, Lotman and Partain. The kid will serve first. First dig for Partain. Nearly finding another. All right, Dane, break it down for me. These two teams have met previously, not in this tournament. However, they have faced off against one another. So how do you necessarily, what do you even do against Dalhausser and Patterson?
Yeah, you know, they met in New Orleans in the semifinals, and Patterson and Dalhausser prevailed in that one just by a pretty slim margin, 15-11 in the third set. So very equal, but you're talking about two veterans, 42 years of age each, Patterson and Dalhausser, against basically, you know, two youngsters out there in Miles Partain, who's just 20 years of age, but Paul Lotman, young at heart. He's 36 years of age, but he seems to keep getting better the more beach experience he gets. His background is more in the indoor game, but tough to crack. I love this team of Dalhausser and Patterson. They are so fun to watch.
Let me give you a number. 482, the total combination of tournaments played between Patterson and Dalhausser.
That's insane. That's insane. And you mentioned Phil Dalhausser, 61 AVP wins, but 102 total wins. That is taking into consideration the international victories that he has. And so that is a very exclusive club that he is in. I believe he is number 5 in that club, and joining Karch Karai, Randy Stoklos, St. John Smith, Kent Steffes, and
Phil.
Dalhausser. So a very small group and a very exclusive group. We had St. John Smith in the booth a couple of matches ago, very complimentary of Phil's skills.
Yeah, I love that. I'm glad that you brought that up, as Phil is at the back line now, one of the best servers in the world, hitting from such a high point. And there is the quick option. And we talk about scouting report between these two teams. That is not only on the scouting report, it's circled, it's highlighted, it's starred, the option play from the lefty of Miles Partain.
The option over on two has really been implemented on really widespread. A lot of teams really putting it in their offensive arsenal because you can't just be simply conventional. It's too easy for the blocker to hone in. You have to give the blocker so much to think about. Are you going to hit on two? Are you going to set the ball over? Are you going to poke it on the second contact? Can I get you to jump as a setter and then get my hitter with no block up? All those things are at play, and it's nice to see the complexities as well as the evolution.
Well, and we'll speak to that evolution as this game continues on, as that's a tough serve from Casey Patterson trying to find the sideline. So a side out on the side of Lotman and Partain. And in regards to that evolution, I actually caught up with Paul Lotman asking about, because you'll also see the jump set from Miles Partain. So it's this added element of difficulty, right? Is he gonna option? Is he gonna jump set? And he said he's now actually deciding right before he takes off whether he's going to set or swing on that ball. So it's now becoming a later play and more of a decision by him. A read play from Miles Partain.
I like that, using that creativity and making those last-minute decisions. That's what the sport's all about.
Phil Dalhausser still sticking with that jump topspin serve. We used to see him kind of work into matches a few seasons ago, but now, not so much. He's bringing the pace from the beginning from the service line. 6-4, another side out from Partain.
You know, I love this kid, Partain. And, you know, he is, I can call him a kid, just 20 years of age, but he's so fun to watch because he's just like, he's got ice in his veins. I've never seen him get rattled, never seen him get really upset. He's very composed. There he digs the ball. Business as usual right there. Crushes it cross court. Casey Patterson was actually playing the cross court, but that hit just too good. And this kid is just steady, and it's so fun to watch how each time he steps on the court, he gets even smarter and executes so well.
I'm talking to Lotman, because this pairing has been together for a few tournaments now over the last few seasons. As Casey Patterson's going to get a look here. Block back from Partain, though. Or excuse me, by Paul Lotman. But it's interesting, though, because Lotman had said, you know, first when Miles came out to the sand alongside him, there was, you know, it was all Lotman kind of having the conversation, taking the lead, making the initiation in terms of strategy and skill. And he said, in the last year, it's completely changed. And not to say that the maturity of Miles Partain has increased, but he's just gotten older and more dynamic in the sport. He's become more vocal as he's out there on the court. And they said it's really switched in terms of the dynamic, who's leading who, and that came at the hand of Paul Lotman. So that's something to be said of the growth of just a 20-year-old heading into his junior year at UCLA.
Yeah. We have to mention the fact that he's an AVC first-team All-American as he just rifles that ball, but he was also the Mountain Pacific Sports Federation, which is basically all of the best men's teams on the West Coast. He was the player of the year.
As a sophomore.
Sophomore year.
And as a setter.
It's amazing. He is the future, you know, whatever direction he wants to go, whether it's indoor or the beach, he is going to be leading the charge in terms of representing the United States on that male side. Dalhausser Patterson, 8-7 here in set number one over Lotman and Partain. I mentioned earlier, these two teams did meet in the last AVP Pro Series event in New Orleans, and it was Dalhausser and Casey Patterson with a 15-11 win. in the semifinals. And they did it with plays like that from Phil Dalhausser. Serves it up, gets to the net, and just stuffs that ball. Huge block. Check out how far over the net Phil gets. Just nowhere to go right there. Don't want to challenge Phil. You always got to go high.
Well, if you've been living under a rock, Phil Dalhausser is 6 feet 9 inches tall. His armpits over the net on any given play. His one job as a blocker, not only to block the ball down, but to take up space, which is exactly what he does. 10-7 now. Dalhausser and Patterson on top.
I think the big question this second round for Phil and Casey in terms of the second round of them playing. It'll be interesting if that kind of honeymoon wears off or not at any point, because remember how engaged they were. I love the word engaged, because when Phil is engaged and ready to go and he's playing with a new partner, he's having a great time, and that goes for Casey as well. It's just has rejuvenated him. And let's not forget that at the end of last season, Phil said he was retiring. But that's obviously not the case, winning 2 tournaments already. How about the tomahawk by Casey Patterson? And another dig right there. Casey's everywhere. Oh my, will he put it away? Yes, with the Cobra.
House of Slytherin is Casey Patterson.
I mean, the defense right now, Casey Patterson. I say, you know, Phil and Casey playing some of the best volleyball I've seen from them. There's no like ill effects. They're still jumping out of the sand, doing their thing. 42 years of age.
And everyone was not thrilled on the jump set coming from Paul Lotman doing his best Miles Partain impression, but Phil Dalhausser still all over that. Well, and it's funny too, because you mentioned, you know, the honeymoon phase. I think anyone that's playing with Phil Dalhausser, or even Casey Patterson, that matter, is going to be in a bit of a honeymoon phase. Casey Patterson just picked that one up. Chicken wing got caught in the wing, actually. But it's funny because after they ended up picking up the win in New Orleans, or excuse me, that was actually, yeah, New Orleans. Casey talked about the pressure of playing alongside Phil in their first competition together. Said it's not as easy as you might think, because you put so much pressure on yourself, right? You're playing with the GOAT. The expectation is there, so you have to manage that throughout. He was just so grateful that he ended up with the victory, saying, oh, all right, now we can settle into it a little bit more.
Yeah, you know, it's like, you know, sometimes you're on a team and you're like, oh, we got nothing to lose. When you're playing with Phil, you're expected to win. So anything less than that is kind of a loss, right? But it is not easy, because you're going to be targeted. They already know what Phil can do. They're going to serve you. They're going to test you. And that's why the pressure goes up so high. And Casey Patterson definitely passed the test and took care of it.
And just in case you want to know a little more of the resume, we've been highlighting it for Phil Dalhausser, but just look at the numbers on the right side of your screen. I mean, they're just astronomical at this point. Olympic gold medal in tow, the one and only Phil Dalhausser. Casey Patterson also has done really nice things, especially in the last few years on tour. You look back even just to the 2021 season, whether it was Atlanta, Manhattan, and Chicago, the 3 events we had on schedule. And he won 2 out of the 3 events just a year ago alongside Chase Buttinger. It was remarkable to see what they were able to put together. So they won Atlanta as well as Chicago. And there's a look at some numbers for Dalhausser and Patterson. Miles Partain, love that. Started beach volleyball in 2003. Miles Partain was 2 years old.
That's awesome.
Great job by our crew here with Echo Entertainment, doing a nice job pulling out all the fun facts and stats you need out of the technical timeout. Oh, Miles Partain sitting right in the angle. Casey says out, Miles says in. What will it be?
I think with a closer look, Patterson realized that ball was in, and Partain with a nice hit. But not even, you know, no bantering back and forth. You know, Casey Patterson likes to banter. Miles Partain, poker face. What a set.
What a block, I think is what you meant to say.
Wow. Beautiful set from the backcourt by Patterson. Gets it all the way up to the net. And then Phil challenges Lotman. Lotman just says, not so fast, just denies him.
1 point game now. Oh, and wow. He tags him. Chesty, Paul Lotman finding Phil Dalhausser.
Yeah, it looked like he tried to pull a matrix move. Check this out. But it catches his arm right there, trying to pull that left arm out of the way, and Phil just gets picked off.
I do want to make note, too, Phil Dalhausser is a 4-time Olympian. I know one of our graphics said 3. Won the gold 2008, then went to 2012, 2016, as well as 2020.
Or 21.
Yeah, /21.
The delayed Olympics due to COVID. And it seems like, can you believe it, that Paris is right around the corner.
Yeah, which is why you're also getting to see, you've got that 2-year period, right, where you're able to qualify into the Olympics, and we are now about 3 years out. So this is a fun season where you're kind of seeing some new partnerships or feeling out period where all of a sudden, before next season comes about, things will start to get a little more solidified as these teams look for an Olympic run. Where will Miles Partain sit? That's going to be the question.
Cobra to the deep corner. Patterson's there. And Partain complaining that the ball hit the antenna. It'd be interesting to get a look at that and see if that was actually the case. The roll shot difficult to see right there, but Lotman said, Miles, no antenna. He cleared it up quickly and no more argument. Cameron, you were mentioning the Olympics literally in almost 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Right. And the qualification window will open up at the beginning of that 23 season. And so everybody kind of jockeying for position. Remember, only 2 teams make the Olympics. It's usually your best 12 finishes on the international circuit. Doesn't matter if you play in 25, 30, it's your best 12. And based on that, if you're one of the top 2 teams in the United States, you will punch your ticket. There's always been talk of trials and one team getting in on points and whatnot, but it stayed pretty consistent from the start. It's still those 2 teams with the best points accrued over that qualification window.
And we're just about 6 years away from those Olympic Games being right on these sands. Have some fun times ahead for Olympic beach volleyball in the United States. Casey Patterson out of the middle, and it's blocked again. Paul Lotman. And it's interesting, I got a chance to watch these 2 yesterday in action in terms of Lotman and Partain. And some of the things that I noticed is that, number one, when things go their direction, it's typically with defensive play. Things like this, when Paul Lotman can get a block, or it's that extra dig from Miles Partain that really separates or maybe finds that turning page. So something to pay attention to here near the end of set number 1. Casey Patterson leaving the gooseneck up as he usually does. See the Suave Hawk flowing out of CPAT. I feel like we should start some sort of hashtag, like things shorter than Casey Patterson Suave Hawk, because this is the longest I've ever seen it.
It is long. I did notice that.
Hit me up on Instagram or Twitter. Let me know. Things shorter than Casey Patterson Suave Hawk. 16-15. Lotman and Partain playing some side out now. If you're just joining us, this is men's quarterfinal action. A spot in the semifinals is up for grabs. Casey Patterson, 15 attacks. Phil, just 2. Ooh, he's gonna get a 3rd here. Is it another block? Wow. Paul Lotman climbing the ladder, and again, defense showing up.
Just like that, things starting to turn around for Lotman and Partain. It's because of the dominant play at the net. Lotman just stuffing balls right now, and Phil and Casey looking for answers, trailing by 2.
Casey Patterson put a little extra oomph on that ball.
Yeah, some serious heat right there from Patterson. Kind of hanging, waiting. You know, remember a few years ago, Casey Patterson was battling a lot of injury, and seems like now he's healthier than ever. He actually says he plays pickleball.
Saved his career.
To cross-train. Isn't that true?
Yeah, a lot of pickleball for Casey Patterson. Here's a look at Partain. And he said he's never felt better. His body's starting to get healthy again. He plays and trains about 4 or 5 days a week on the pickleball court, but it's all the lateral movement, the shuffling, the readability is very similar. Paddle angles to platform angles. His length, let me tell you, serves him well reaching into that kitchen line, but it's been fun. He said, you know, maybe just get out on the sand a couple days a week now, and look at where he is. He's in the quarterfinals alongside the one and only Phil Dalhausser. Miles Partain goes up the line, the lefty on the left side.
Could this be the breakthrough weekend for Lotman and Partain? They both best finishes, third. They've done it 3 times and never been to an AVP final. And so they are getting closer each and every match right now, and they have their hands full with them, with Dalhausser and Patterson. But right now, in the driver's seat is Lotman and Partain, up by 3. All they have to do is side out a couple times, and they'll take this first set.
19-16 now, so slowing things down are Dalhausser and Patterson. Some of the numbers through the weekend for Miles Partain and Paul Lotman. In terms of total attacks, it's definitely gone the direction of Miles Partain, 103 compared to 36 on the weekend. That's a big difference, but a lot of that is also because the option play is coming off the hand of Miles Partain. He's got 56 kills, hitting 388. That's pretty astonishing. They had a couple 3-game or 3-set battles that were phenomenal on the day yesterday. They took down John Hyden and Logan Weber first round, 16-21, 29-27. That second set, ooh, that was a tough one. And then closing out 15-9. And they faced off against the number 2 seed in Brunner and Schulk. Another 3-game battle, finishing 16-14 in the third. Just remarkable play from the number 7 seed. Now challenging Dalhausser and Patterson. Patterson working a little more towards the middle like he likes to. Blocked back, recycled, and put away. The roundhouse from Paul Lotman.
So athletic, just able to do so many different things, and that's what you want to see, that creativity. And Lotman is locked in right now, not only blocking, but his offense as well.
And a side out. 17-20 now, so a few opportunities for Lotman and Partain to close out game 1. Jump set, and just wide. There was a little bit of a gasp here in Stadium Court. I'm not sure if they liked that set off of Miles Partain. They thought it was good or just remarkable. One or the other. 18-20 now.
I like this. Good timeout. Paul Lotman does the veteran thing, call a timeout. You know, there's always the 2 schools of thought. Do you just stay out there? You need one side out to win the set, or you slow things down? And I like this. Now they have 2 opportunities.
18-20. We got Mike Playcheck in the box for Miles Partain and Paul Lotman, former AVP pro, also down in San Diego. I believe he's working alongside at Wave Volleyball Club. These 2 have been training with him about 2 days a week. Said he's been in incredible health. And I believe Miles Partain is even down in San Diego working an internship. So these two have been training down in the very southern waters of California.
And then on the other side, you have Tyler Hildebrand, head coach for Long Beach State's women's indoor team. And he's, you know, he's had quite a career. He was,
I think that's safe to say.
he was the head of USA Volleyball's beach team for some time, and then he was the assistant coach out in Nebraska.
And just like that, it happened so quickly. 21-18, Lotman and Partain pick up game number 1. But let's have some fun and look back at the White Claw pure spike of the day, because it was a turning point, a big one, off the hand of Paul Lotman. How about this turn? He doesn't even see the net. He just goes full send. Again, that's the White Claw pure spike of the day. So the number 7 seed staying tough, picking up game number 1. See Pat and Dalhausser. Got to find something here.
The AVP is brought to you by Waikea Hawaiian Volcanic Water. Live Aloha. Drink Waikea at waikea.com. By KT Tape, helping athletes of all levels train longer and finish stronger. And by Monster Hydro, hard charging hydration.
Dear Mainland, aloha. My brother and I hear lots of you have discovered a real Hawaiian favorite, Big Wave Golden Ale. That's the good kind of stuff, yeah, bro. Maybe it's the island flavor that makes each sip taste like a little vacation.
Got your beers here.
That's a whole lot of little vacations right there, huh, brother? That's like a big vacation. Retirement. One life, right? Mahalo. Big Wave Golden Ale from Kona Brewing.
A sun-soaked Saturday here in Hermosa Beach for the Hermosa Beach Open on the AVP Tour. It has been a gorgeous day with some epic volleyball taking place. I'm not sure if Hermosa Beach is next to Pound Town, but these folks might think so. It's men's quarterfinal action. Cameron Irwin alongside Dane Blanton. And wow, the kid and his partner Lotman That's Miles Partain and Paul Lotman picked up game number 1 over the number 3 seed, Dalhausser and Patterson, 21-18, as they now look for game number 2 and a spot into tomorrow's semifinals. It is a double elimination bracket with 16 teams, both on the men's and women's side, fighting for that ultimate prize, the Hermosa Beach title. And these 2 teams are in the double elimination. So one of them, well, they get to move to the semifinal. The other will have to play in an additional match tomorrow morning to work their way back into a semifinal. 2 very tough top teams in action here on the sand. We're so grateful to have you with us. Casey Patterson starts us off.
Partain with a big hit, making it look easy once again. And I was impressed at how this team, Lotman and Partain, were so solid down the stretch. They got a 3-4 point lead, and then they never relinquished it. Very composed. That timeout by Lotman resulted in a service error. It was very timely, very solid veteran move.
Yeah, it's a great call by you. Nice recognition as Partain goes with the jump float and gets a reception error out of Casey Patterson. A little bit of the change of pace. Crab and Sander have already made their way into the other semifinal. Great set from Phil Dalhausser. I think that was a bump set, but it's always fun. Phil always has a little extra love after he finishes a set, whether it's his hands or the bump set, just kind of fall into those knees, making sure it's perfectly placed.
That's a great point, because if you do follow through longer, I think that the ball is more controlled. Always try to teach players to have that ball contact their arm a little longer, and if you do a follow through, that usually is the case.
Another block from Lotman.
Lotman just everywhere on the court. We talk about his indoor career, 5th place in the 2012 Olympics, and he also competed in the 2016 games. But after that, he started to focus his game on the beach, and this guy is athletic, one of the most feared blockers on tour.
What's wild is the fact, I know that didn't go the direction of Lotman and Partain, is the fact that that was a replay from Partain, still getting a hand on that, even though he was supposed to be sitting in the angle. Oh, the one-handed scoop. And he can't find his feet.
That was a crazy set from Phil. The back line put that ball in a very hittable position here. There's the dig by Patterson. Phil rolls it, follows through, and it seems like maybe Casey misplaced his footing there, and that ball dropped just a little bit, and that's all it takes.
Great set there. Wow. Partain, it's all over it. Hear the communication, quick set. And Casey Patterson finds the block stat. Yeah, give him the monster block, why not?
That was awesome. Casey Patterson, don't see him at the net very often. One of the tallest defenders on tour at 6'6", knows what to do up at the net. That was a crazy rally.
Well, you know, Phil Dalhausser did win a title split blocking this year, so why not? Maybe put Casey up at the net. Split block alongside Andy Benish.
Yeah, that was an impressive win. Not a lot of people thought that Andy Benish and Phil Dalhausser could win. Everybody said they're both just too tall, there's no defense, but look at that defense right there. Phil is quick and he's ready, but a Lotman who gets the best of it. But Benish and Dalhausser winning that first event in Austin, the first Pro Series event of the 2022 season.
How about the heads-up play right here from Partain, recognizing when Phil is serving and having to run to the net. That's a nice time to use the option, forcing Phil to have to get to the net that much quicker. Service pressure has been on display for Lotman and Partain. They've got some out-of-system play. Jump set. And finesse. Casey's there. Oh, and that was getting awfully close. That's where you got to make sure the foot is on the line.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be in the deep corner there. Lotman tracked it the entire time. And smart play, let it go, just out.
Here's a look back at the jump set. Nice little snag there by Phil, giving Casey just enough time to scoop underneath. Questions whether that ball's inbounds, and I believe Casey just moved the ball mark, so it's going to be called inbounds, an ace for Lotman.
I'll tell you what, Cameron, Dalhausser and Casey Patterson in a little bit of trouble here. Little bit of trouble. You know, we saw the run in the first set. Lotman and Partain took charge and finished it. And now with a 4-point lead early on, and they're playing with a lot of momentum. They're controlling the match, and they're putting the pressure on. There's another overpass. And it's Lotman crushing the ball, 8-3, just like that. He's creating points.
He is creating points, and it's interesting because it's come in at a variety of different service pressures, right? Whether it's Lotman or Partain. Partain kind of giving a softball every once in a while, moving the pace around and the play around. And then you've got Lotman bringing some pace from the back line as well. So interesting to see those two get after it from the service line. It's paying dividends right now, 8-3. So let's take a look at how we have shaped up on this Saturday and where the men now stand as we are close to Championship Sunday, just a few hours away. This is our last match of the day here on Elimination Saturday. These two teams looking for a spot into the semifinal. You can see Taylor Crabb and Taylor Sander. Well, they're already into the first semifinal tomorrow, and then you've got Dalhausser, Patterson, Lotman, Partain still looking for their shot. Taylor Crabb sitting in our booth as well, making sure he's cued in on all that is happening. I think he knows these guys just a little bit. I think it's about some of the great battles that Taylor Crabb has had against both Casey Patterson and Phil Dalhausser. Yeah, their respective teammates.
Yeah, you're always scouting, right? But they would be in the bottom part of the bracket. So those two teams that advance to that semifinal would meet two teams coming from the contenders that'll have to battle it out. And the way this thing's looking right now, Dalhausser and Patterson could be in the contenders bracket really quick and have a little bit more work to get to where they want to be.
Well, and a big reason why, 5 blocks and 2 control blocks for Paul Lotman. You add in a couple more aces and whew.
What a set by Patterson. And beautiful.
And you know this crowd just wants to see Phil swing. Just toss a couple that way, just so we can see it.
Look at the height of this set. Look how it is released. Right foot forward, puts it up nicely, gives Phil plenty of time to get under the ball. Big double arm lift for the kill.
Option, kill. I feel like that's the only option he has on that. just to put it away. Why not?
Well, and even if you know he's going there, it's still difficult to stop.
Yeah.
And Phil's kind of shaking his head, thinking that he took away enough area, but Miles Partain finds it.
Trying to find a little shake and bake in the backcourt as Miles Partain trying to bait Casey Patterson, but nonetheless challenging the block and winning is Patterson. Start to see some defenders jump around, bait one direction, chase the other. Dalhausser and Patterson looking to do Phil things here.
Phil can change the course of the match very quickly. His serving, with his block, with his offensive arsenal. But right now, it's been all Lotman and Partain completely controlling this second set.
Oh, what an overhead dig. Partain, and he finds a sharp angle. Talk about the speed of transition, dig to attack.
That was amazing, and that's what Miles Partain is so good at. Making the dig, then gathering himself, puts his feet underneath him, is drifting to the right and crushes the ball to the left. So dynamic, such an athlete. A bomb down the middle by Lotman. Phil's in trouble again.
Casey's got to get there. 11, make it 12-5 now. Lotman and Partain have come in swinging against this tough team of Dalhausser and Patterson. Lotman has 12 total attempts, 4 kills, but his partner, 21 attempts, 13 kills, hitting .476.
Tight set.
Nice play by Lotman at the net. Great recovery.
Now that was interesting. I think they had another contact there, because there was a joust. Then the first contact is Lotman hitting it there. Partain did not have to go over.
Dalhausser and Patterson 7-0 so far as partners. This could be in jeopardy, that record, but good news is even if they take a loss here, they'll still be moving on to Sunday. You'll get another chance to see Phil Dalhausser. Of course, he's repping the Phil Dalhausser Beach Volleyball Academy out of Orlando, Florida. Need some training, head towards Phil.
That's interesting. Both Phil and Jake Gibb started their own beach clubs right about the same time, right? Because you got Spiker Beach down in Huntington Beach. Heard it's just an amazing club, and how great to be taught by.
I think they just called us in.
The Hall of Famer, Jake Gibb.
We took a shot here in the booth. I'm not sure we're going to get another on cam. We might have broken it.
Well, that happens.
Sorry,
It's
JL.
part of the territory.
13-7. They're tired of hearing us talk. Big swing from Lotman. Trailing to his left, but still taking a rip at the ball. 14-7, and we are in the technical timeout.
After this match, I strongly encourage you to head over to this voted best new restaurant in the South Bay.
So 14-7 in the technical timeout, and I believe maybe, oh, yeah, we get one more on camera. I think we might have to level it off there. I think that's a little bit better.
I think this is your strong angle.
Yeah, this is good angle for us. But hey, we've been having so much fun with you here in the stadium court. It's been fantastic. And no, Dane, I mean, it's just so fun to be back on the Hermosa sands, and especially to see teams like this. There's some change, right? I feel like there's this new wave, and even on the men's side, we've talked about it so much in the women's game, but the growth and development on the men's game, you're starting to see some big-time pieces, whether it's Miles Partain. I also think of Andy Benish has been this up and up and up in terms of trajectory. You saw Hagen Smith out there as well. It's kind of fun to see here in Hermosa the growth on the men's side and how it's starting to develop at a greater rate.
Yeah, well, you know, it's interesting. I'd say Miles Partain is leading the youth movement. There's no question. I don't think there's anyone anywhere near him at 20 years of age. Hagen Smith, he's 26. He's starting to come into his own, having a great tournament. But I think the transference of some of the indoor players, the Paul Lotman, the Taylor Sanders,
it's a great call,
is starting to happen a little bit more, or they're at least seeing it as an option. So that door's kind of open. So this is a sport you can play, obviously, until your early 40s. So a lot of indoor players are done with indoor in their early 30s. That means, what are they going to do for the next 10 years if they don't want to be playing overseas and internationally and on the hardwood? Yeah. It gives them an option. And I think over time, that door is open more to the possibility, and they think they can do it. And Of course they can. Look at some of these indoor athletes and how dynamic and fun they are to watch, bringing that indoor attitude to the beach.
Yeah, without a doubt, you're starting to see the transference from the indoor onto the beach as well. I mean, the kid himself still playing indoor and beach at the same time, whether it's UCLA or out here on the AVP Tour. Casey Patterson. Deep middle, one of his favorite shots from that right side. He hits it better than most. Reminds me a little Jake Gibb-esque there, former partner.
And we were talking about Jake and Phil both starting clubs, but Jake seems to be the only one working at the club. I mean, this guy, Phil, said he was going to retire, and now he's got,
still out here.
He's got 2 wins already in 2 events.
Does that mean we get to see Jake again?
I don't know. Maybe he's training.
Oh, man. Option. And this time, Phil gets the better of it. He says, finally. 10-15.
Phil just barely getting there in time, and that's what he's got to be aware of, that over on 2 that Partain's been doing very often when Phil is serving. If you're going to rip a serve, you got to get to the net quick.
They're going to make a run. It's going to be here, and with the help of Phil's serve, so that's going to hurt a little bit more in terms of a dagger. That's one of the big elements they have in their toolbox. Hasn't been quite utilized like they would have hoped in this matchup. Lotman's serve has been the one on display. He's got 2 aces in the match. And a lot of pressures.
Difficult attempt right there by Patterson. Body facing one way, tried to go away from body, and a difficult play. The ball dropped just a little bit and he can't clear the net. So that's a big error, and right now completely in command, just 4 points away from advancing are Lotman and Partain. Still bombing serves is Lotman.
He's gonna get a shot in transition as well. Tight ball, Phil was there. Ready for the option, and again, Paul Lotman just hanging his hands over the height of the net, earns yet another block.
Can't say enough about Paul Lotman. Just waiting at the net.
And there's the look. They wanted the option play, but instead they find it again defensively. That's the difference for these two. If they can make big defensive plays at the net in the backcourt, things are going to shift their direction. And right now, the disparity is also in addition to the service pressure of that guy right there, Paul Lotman. Now 6 total blocks and 2 controls.
Lotman, a co-player of the year, playing at Long Beach State his junior year. He knows how to get it done, and there he is again. He's feeling it, puts it down, and the lead is 9.
Number 7.
His 7th block. If you came into this thinking somebody's going to be having 7 blocks or make it 9 with the controls, probably would have been Phil. Just saying. But none other. Lotman showing up big time as he misses that serve. 11-19. Can they go on a run? That is the question for Phil Dalhausser and Casey Patterson.
We should mention there is no longer a freeze on the AVP tour when you get to match point. You play it just regular as you would, point per play. And that is new, the elimination of the freeze this year.
So we mentioned the loss to Phil and Casey. That was actually in the semifinal in New Orleans, like you mentioned. They have made both semifinals in New Orleans, and they did it as well in Denver, having taken a loss to Benish and Evans. Right now, they're looking for another semifinal in 2022. Lotman and Partain looking for the upset. They go to Casey. Will it be a block? It is! Why not add one more? Paul Lotman picking up the win alongside Miles Partain. 21-18, 21-11. Outstanding play from those two.
What impresses me so much is the composure of this team. It's funny, Lotman, the older player at 36, he's more animated than Partain is. Partain very serious. Partain focused. He goes to the back line. After this match, I was just following him. He goes and gets his scouting camera, picks up his tripod. He's all about business.
There's not even a whole lot of celebration there.
No, it's business.
He just beat Casey Patterson and Phil Dalhausser in 2 games.
And he went straight and got his tape of it, and he's going to scout it, and he's going to be ready tomorrow. That's the type of athlete Miles Partain is. Just so focused and relentless. That's why he, mark my words, is the future of men's volleyball in the United States, whatever route that he chooses. That's just a lot of fun to watch what he was able to do right there. And that was, they dominated right there. 21-18 in the first, and then it only got more and more the lead. Winning 21-11 in the second. Just impression fashion. You don't look at that match and say, oh, we barely won. You say, we handled our business, and they did it by being prepared and ready to go.
Yeah, and I think just the challenge, whether it's the option play, which we saw several times, obviously, from the total number of attacks from Miles Partain, but I think one of the elements that maybe wasn't accounted for was Paul Lotman and his block, because a lot of that came at the hand of some tough service pressure, too. It's so fun to watch how those two dynamics, tough serves, ultimately earned also some big-time block points as well. This match was all Miles Partain and all Paul Lotman. So impressive to see them moving on to yet another semifinal. Both of them looking for their first final. Can it be here in Hermosa? We've got a full day of coverage coming to you live from Hermosa Beach. Tomorrow, it's going to be Championship Sunday. You'll still get a chance to see those two. Will be the second match of the day, Dalhausser and Patterson versus Allen and Casey. That's the second match of the day tomorrow. You're not going to want to miss those two as they look to rebound here in Hermosa Beach. Casey, he won it here in 2019. Can he do it in 2022 alongside the GOAT? Or will it be the youngins? Maybe it's Crab and Sander, who knows? We're gonna have a full day of coverage. Thanks so much for joining us on this beautiful Saturday. For myself, Cameron Irwin, alongside Dane Bland, Rich Lambourne, and Mark Sherman, who's been down on the sand, our whole Echo Entertainment crew, and of course, the AVP Tour. Thanks so much for joining us. We can't wait to see you back here. Championship Sunday, just a few hours away. Oh, things are gonna get interesting.
Thank you.